Hey, today's a very special day here at the Dohyo. We've done a lot of research, and now it's finally time to tell you what would happen if Hakuho had never existed. What? Excited? Salt? Shake?
Roll the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Now, the last Basho had created like a lot of craziness, like hair pulling, hand wringing, blood. One of the most common reactions I got to Tokushoryu's winning the tournament was, well, this never would have happened if Hakuho had been healthy. And in fact, for the past few years, I've been hearing a lot of, well, Tamawashi never would have won, Mitake Yumi never would have won, like Asanoyama never would have won if Hakuho had been healthy. Because Hakuho won a record amount of matches, other wrestlers could not win those matches. So Hakuho's very existence has created this giant gravitational pull that has sucked thousands and at least 1,000 wins away from other wrestlers. So, in a world where Hakuho never existed, what would the sumo world look like? We have created this, we have done the research, I've gone through every single one of the 43 tournaments Hakuho has won, and have tried to figure out an alternate timeline on who would have won that tournament if Hakuho had never existed. Welcome to the shadow of Hakuho. Here are the rules, the shadow of Hakuho. We are creating an alternate timeline, not what if Hakuho were hurt in each individual tournament. No, Hakuho does not exist in this scenario. We are going to discuss the date of the tournament, what Hakuho got in that tournament, who finished second in that tournament, and who finished behind the people who finished second. And we are going to try to put an investigation and to rebuild that tournament without Hakuho. There is a problem with this that most of you sci-fi nerds out there, like myself, have probably figured out, and it's the butterfly effect. Both the effect and the horrible movie starring Ashton Kutcher. Basically, the idea is it's chaos theory, like Jurassic Park, a better movie than the butterfly effect. If a butterfly flaps its wings, it can create a hurricane later on because one thing leads into another thing leads into another thing. This is not a scientific survey in the scientific way of looking at it. So at the end of each tournament, we're going to go through it, I'm going to give it a rank. My 4 rankings are, number 1, the lock. These are tournaments where I believe that pretty much anyone, given the same facts I was given, is going to come up with the same person. I would bet money on this, and if you know me, that's a big deal. The second rank is going to be the strong case. Alright, now because of the uncertainty of going into the past and erasing a giant figure from a sport, there are going to be cases where it's not going to be it's not going to be a lock. It's not going to be super clear cut who that other person was going to be. But the clues lead us to believe that there is a very strong case. Now, I'm not holding myself to the standard of a criminal court in that there must be no reasonable doubt whatsoever, but what I am going to say is that I don't think anyone else would be able to make a stronger case for any other Rikishi. Number 2, strong case. Third rank is the definite maybe. This is if there's not a super strong case for one Rikishi, but several Rikishi seem to have a claim at being able to say, I could have done that, or I could have done that. That's exactly what they all sounded like, by the way. If there were good cases for multiple wrestlers, and maybe one was just a little bit stronger than the other, that is a definite maybe. I am willing to take debates from you in the comments. In fact, I love that, so please do that. Number 4, it's going to be the free for all, in that your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to give you the information I have, and we can all figure it out together. The shadow of Hakuho. Here we go. We're starting off with Yusho number 1. May 2006. Hakuho wins with a 14-1 record. Jun Yusho goes to Sekiwake Miyabiyama who also had a 14-1. Now this was a great one because this one started off very, very easy. So there was a playoff at 14-1 between Hakuho and Miyabiyama. In real life, Hakuho ended up winning, but in the shadow of Hakuho, Miyabiyama had a 14-1. So who was the next closest? Baruto at 11-4. Now, actually, in the tournament, Miyabiyama beat Hakuho during the regular season, and in the playoff, lost to Hakuho. So I'm very, very convenient in saying that Miyabiyama, especially with that 3-win gap between himself and the next highest Rikushi, that in this case, Yusho number 1. That would be a lock for Sekiwake Miyabiyama. Yusho number 2, March 2007. This is another playoff. Now, okay, we're just going to say this right here. You're going to think, oh, this is super easy. Every one of these seems to be a playoff, and it looks like it's a very easy task. No, these two were just at the beginning. It fooled me. It's going to fool you all. This gets a lot harder from here. Asashoryu had a 13-2. He met Hakuho in a playoff where he lost to Hakuho. Now, after Asashoryu, we get Megashira 5, Homasho, Megashira 14, Tochiozan, and Megashira 16, Wakano Sato. Now, one of my favorite things about doing this project is that I'm learning a lot about other wrestlers, and we're going to hear more about Tochiozan and Homasho later. I believe this is the only time we hear from Wakano Sato. This is very similar to the last Yusho in that Hakuho lost to Asashoryu in the regular season before beating him in the playoff. So, this is going to be an easy one. If Hakuho had not existed, I feel very confident in saying Asashoryu would have continued on, and he would have won that championship. It's a lock. The third Yusho is where things start to get a little less locked down. This is where some doubt is going to enter the process. Ashton Kutcher fans, get your butterfly wings ready. Now, the third Basho was May 2007, right after the last one, and it is Hakuho's first Zensho Yusho. Now, this is its own separate category, the Zenshos, because we find a lot in the history of Hakuho is that Hakuho would sometimes start lapping the field, and then the person who finished second was never really in the championship hunt, so they never had that person fight the high-ranked fighters that they normally would have, in a case of like Tokushoryu going up and facing Takakeisho on the last day. So, the May 2007, Hakuho finishes 15-0. The June Yusho goes to 12-3, Sekiwake Koto Mitsuki, Megashira 8, Asa Sekiryu, and Megashira 10, Dejima. Now, you say, oh, there are 3 people who got the Jun Yusho. How can you possibly decide? Well, I dug into the Bansake a little bit and found out that Koto Mitsuki was the only member of the Jun Yusho trio to face any Sanyaku members. I have to believe that if this tournament were a closer tournament and these Megashira were actually going to be in the Yusho hunt, they would have been bumped up and they probably would have faced Koto Mitsuki. Now the next group after the 12-3 group is a bunch, 7 people at 10-5, including Asashoryu, Ozeki Kaio, and Ozeki Chiyotaikai. Now since they were all the way down at 10 and the next ones up were 12-3, there seems to be one Sanyaku member there who was doing better than everyone else, and that is Sekiwake Koto Mitsuki. But because we are going from a 15-0 to a 12 second place and then a 10, that is a lot of wins and a lot of Bansake scheduling in there that would have been completely different. So, for this third Yusho, I'm going to give it to Koto Mitsuki, but it's going to be a strong case. Alright, Yusho number 4, September 2007. Hakuho wins with a 13-2. The June Yusho goes to 12-3. Kyoku Tenho at Megashira 12. And then after that is a young man named Goeido, who at M14 who finished with 11-4. He also finished 0-3 versus the Sanyaku. And after that at 10-5 come a whole fun list of people you know, including Koto Mitsuki. Remember him? Well, he is now an Ozeki. Just a sidebar. This is one of my favorite things about the project was being able to see everyone else's sort of journey reflected off of Hakuho, and guys like Koto Mitsuki, who I didn't know that much about, getting to dive into his Ozeki run was a real pleasure. Now we're back. Now Ozeki, Koto Mitsuki, Sekiwake Amanishiki, Komusubi Ama, who later became Haruma Fuji, Megashira 3 Koto Shogiku, and Megashira 15 Yoshikaze, as well as Megashira 10 Kasugao. So we have 8 wrestlers in this tournament who are within 2 wins of the Jun Yusho. This is where we really have to start putting on our Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox helmets of time travel and start really trying to figure out, well, what happened here? Do we go with the person who was leading in the Jun Yusho, even though they didn't face a lot of Sanyaku? Although I will say, Kyoku Tenho did beat Komusubi Ama. Would it have been Goeido? Would Goeido have been bumped up a bit more, even though he lost to every Sanyaku opponent he faced? Or would it have been other of those gentlemen on the Sanyaku who were down in the 10 wins? Would they have been able to just find the sumo guts and gambarize their way to the top? I don't know. No one really jumped out at me in this one, and to be fair, Hakuho at 13-2 only won by 1. So he didn't really jump ahead of the pack in either of this one. This one is a giant headache, so this one is a free-for-all. If you have a strong opinion about this one, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Yusho number 5 is November 2007, and Hakuho won with a 12-3. Two gentlemen split the June Yusho at 11-4. Ozeki Chiyotaikai, and I believe at that point, Megashira 16, yes, Baruto. Now, after Chiyotaikai and Baruto, there came a whole mess of 10-5s, such as, again, Ozeki Kotomitsuki, good for him, Komasubi Ama, Megashira 2 now, Dejima, Megashira 12, Roho, and Megashira 15, Wakakirin. And after that, there were 9 wrestlers that I'm not going to list all of them, at 9-6. So, there were 15 Rikishi within 2 wins of the June Yusho. That seems like it would be another free-for-all. But this is one you have to dive deeper into. Now, Ozeki Chiyotaikai has been mentioned a lot because a lot of people say he reminds them of Takakeisho. He was a shorter pusher thruster guy who wasn't necessarily a guy who worked on the Mawashi a lot. And people are saying that Takakeisho might be Chiyotaikai. On day 14 of this tournament, Hakuho and Chiyotaikai faced off, and Hakuho hurt Chiyotaikai's elbow. Chiyotaikai went Kyujo for day 15 because the injury, gave up an injury loss, and never fully recovered. I believe that was his last time getting double-digit wins, was that injury. So this is where it gets fascinating and Back to the Future. If Hakuho's not there, Chiyotaikai maybe doesn't get injured and maybe in the future gets even more Yusho than he would here. I'd say in this scenario with no Hakuho, I'd say it's very unlikely that Chiyotaikai both loses both of those last 2 matches and gets hurt on day 14, which in my mind would put him a cut above everyone else in the tournament. Now, like we said, there were a lot of people clustered in there. This is not going to be a gimme. This isn't even going to be a strong case. But Chiyotaikai, for you, this one is a definite maybe. And if you have a stronger case for anyone else I mentioned, again, hit me up in the comments. This is why we do it. Whew! Alright, that's 5 down, 38 to go, unless he keeps winning more, which he might, which would be awesome. It's important that we all celebrate Hakuho.
Celebrate Hakuho.
Now, if this project is inspiring you to ask questions or inspiring you to dig into other older, possibly lesser well-known wrestlers than the ones we're talking about, great. Let me know if you're going to be doing any research. Let me know if you're doing videos, if you're doing articles, if you want to discuss any of my methodology, if you want to see the big-ass spreadsheet, I'll show it to you. If there are certain Basho you want to know more about, let me know. If there are certain wrestlers you're like, tell me more about Homasho and Chiyotaikai, I can do deep dives on them. Let me know. This is a channel that wants to respond to you, the people who are actually watching these videos. And again, thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed and liked and commented. So thanks for coming. This has been the Dohyo! The box here. Click on the box. More exciting Sumo content!